Hi, thanks for joining us today. This is Angelo from Sunlight Media. You can check us out at sunlightmedia.org. Today we're going to revise a recent blog post that I just posted on my site, and it's in regard to speeding up your WordPress site. We all know WordPress is a very popular platform used on hundreds of thousands of websites and the most widely used CMS platform on the market. And it's important that it's correctly set up and optimized to give your users the best possible experience. We all know it's frustrating going to a site and having to wait, minutes for it to load. No one likes a slow loading website, so this goes through some really cool factors on the way to improve the site speed. So the first thing here I want to mention is WP Engine. If you haven't come across this particular WordPress hosting service, I strongly suggest you check them out. There is a link to their site on the video description area, but it is the best WordPress hosting service on the market. We've done a lot of testing and comparisons, and this by far is the best. So it gives it a lot of cool features, great security enhancements. There's a staging server where you can actually copy the site to a staging server and then do your WordPress software updates, as well as checking plugins and adding plugins and making sure they all work before it goes live. Once you finish your testing, you can actually switch it live and you're good to go. So check it out, WordPress Engine. Moving along here, want to outline some of the points that are listed in this blog. The first one is optimizing images. Images are often the most common cause of a slow loading site. High resolution pictures, using incorrect file types, and overloading your site with graphics can chew up a bunch of bandwidth and cause a very slow user experience. So that is the number one factor on a lot of websites. People using the wrong sized images. If you've got a small area on your website, let me go to my homepage, for instance, such as this. Okay, this kind of image should be really small. Let me try and open it up here. It's sized to the exact proportion of the window that it needs to display in. So oftentimes you'll click on an image and you'll find out that it's 3,000 pixels wide, it's over a megabyte in size, and it only needs to go in an area that's 600 by 800 or something like that. So if you've got big large images, make sure you shrink them down before you add them to your website, or it's just going to slow it down. Okay, that's really important. The next factor here is using a CDN. Most people haven't heard of it, but it's a content delivery network. Basically, it's a global network of servers that automatically delivers your visitors static content such as images, JavaScript, and CSS style sheets. So it figures out where the user is connecting from and then delivers the content from the closest servers located to the user's geographical location. So that's a great way of speeding things up as well. Minification, not so popular, but another great way to increase speed. It's a process of making changes to your source code by removing all of the unnecessary characters and white space without changing the code's functionality. You can do this to the HTML, the CSS, the JavaScript, making the code easier for your browser to read, and which basically makes it a lot faster to load as well. I would suggest doing some research on this before you engage in minification. Do some research on the plugins, look at the reviews and user comments, and make sure it's a good plugin. Check it out, before you publish it live, and make sure that it hasn't affected any of your site's code or functionality or any of the features. So be careful with it, but if you do find a good one, it's definitely a great way to speed things up. Also, WordPress themes. We know there are a bunch of themes out there. Selecting the right one can sometimes be a long task, but it's an important one. Obviously, the aesthetics, the layout, and the functionality of the theme needs to suit your particular style and needs. But at the same time, it needs to be a theme that's very well developed. You know, a poorly coded theme can really slow things down and make your site just an awful experience. So it's important to select a theme that's only a few megabytes in size, that's really, you know, well coded, well optimized, and loads efficiently. So do some research on WordPress themes before you actually go ahead and purchase one. Reducing HTTP requests, again, is another method. Basically, this includes images, CSS files, JavaScripts, reducing the amount of times the browser needs to render an HTTP request. So all of the linked files must be sent to the browser before they load. So, you know, if you have 2 CSS files, you know, 5 JavaScript files, 10 images, you know, the HTML file, that's, you know, 18 total files. It's a lot of stuff for the browser to render. So that can obviously increase load time. So be fully aware of that. Try and minimize the HTTP requests as well. So that's the blog. I suggest reading it if you have a WordPress site that's really slow. These are some great methods you can use to increase the speed and increase the usability on the site and keep your site visitors happy. So check it out, sunlightmedia.org. Go to the blog. It's currently the first one, top 5 ways to speed up your WordPress site. Have a read through it, post some feedback and comments. We also always love to hear your feedback. And again, thanks for watching. Have a great day.